What's going on, people? It's your good buddy SPJ here. Welcome back to SPJ Live, a very different looking SPJ Live. Today on the show, I thought I would kind of let you guys in behind the scenes, as it were, for this new pedalboard build that I'm putting together. I've spent the better part of the last few weeks planning it. I've got the materials that I need. I have the power supply all ready to go. My buddies at Sinusoid Cables sent me some of their sliver solderless cables for all the connections. As a matter of fact, the G2 is completely populated due to the prep work for this pedalboard build. And I've been doing a lot of experimenting this time around with some different ideas, some different approaches, and even thinking maybe I'll change up a few of my normal choices. Come to find that sometimes old habits are hard to break. And, well, I find myself right back where I started, but with some new favorites and a few new ideas about how I can get more out of this board than I originally thought. What's going on, Ben? Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for joining, as always. If this is your first time joining us for SPJ Live, whether you're watching now on the stream or whether you're watching in the future on a replay, welcome. I hope you all have had a great day and a great week and are staying healthy. We do this every Thursday night at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today's was a little bit of a sort of a last minute change. It completely slipped my mind that Andy from Sinusoid Cables and I were supposed to touch base about rescheduling his interview on the show. But unfortunately, the way this whole week turned out, it completely slipped my mind. So that's my bad. I talked to him today, and we will be talking to him hopefully next week, and we will be able to do something cool and fun related to Sinusoid Cables. All right, Terry's GG in the house. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. A few more people watching. Good to have you guys here. Remember, you can participate in the chat at any time. We are a welcoming community. We welcome all different types of guitar players from different types of genres. We welcome your questions. We welcome your feedback. And we welcome just the let's have fun spirit. And it looks like my buddies from Argentina are in the house. Retro Head Effects. How you doing, guys? Good to see you. It's been a long time since we've been in touch. Hope you guys are staying well and staying healthy. I've been doing my best over here in LA as well. As you can see, I'm playing the Vola Oz today. I used it in a video. One of the reasons that a lot of what you're seeing right now is so different is because I've spent the last 2 days actually shooting demos. So cameras are kind of set up the way they need to be. The lights are generally where they go. I haven't done many changes in that respect. But when I build a pedal board, and this kind of gets us started into this whole idea of what we're going to be talking about on the show today, I like to do it just right down on the floor. And I like to do it because it's comfortable for me. It's how I remember sitting experimenting when I was a youngster, finding pedals that I loved and was playing for the first time and seeing if I wanted to work them into my pedal board setup. And there's just something about doing it on the floor that's a little bit more relaxing. I can lay things out maybe a little bit spread out. I don't have to have things, on a table off to one side. The floor is carpet, so it's decently comfortable. It's all kinds of good things. So today, I'm very excited to first start off by telling you guys that Robert Keeley is doing well after his surgery. His wife posted a little update for all of us who were concerned about him, thinking about him, praying for him, and hoping for a successful surgery. He is recovering in the ICU, but he is on track for a good recovery. So I ask that I will be doing so, and I hope you all will be doing so. Keep him and his family and his extended family at the company in your thoughts, in your prayers. Send them all your good vibes because they could use it right now. And with that kind of positive mindset, I've decided to throw a bunch of Keeley pedals that are going on this new pedal board into the fray tonight. Of course, the Echoes just absolutely had to make the board. I think if you guys watched the demo of it back at the beginning of the year, you'd be pretty hard pressed to disagree with me that it sounds amazing. One of the things that I love so much about it is that it sounds unlike anything that I currently have, and it is digital. But what's really cool is that it's a digital pedal, but it doesn't require this insanely high current amount of power. So I don't have to worry about it eating up a high current output on my power supply. And a lot of the experimentation that we're going to get up to has to do with power. We also have my Stompbox Saturday Fuzz Bender, which has found its way into everything. And then my Keeley Compressor Plus, which I'm actually doing, I'm using in a way that this is part of the experiment. I usually just use compression on clean sounds. I've never just put a compressor on and it was on all the time. But I had an idea to reincorporate the Walrus Audio EB10 equalizer, which was the DEFCON 4, which I loved with humbuckers for clean sounds into the rocker verb, help kind of shape the tone a little bit. So I'm experimenting with the idea of possibly running the compressor on all the time. Be the first thing in the chain, actually be the second thing really in the chain after the wireless unit that I'll be using. First thing would be the George Lynch wah, and then the compressor would come after, and then we'd go into G2. So seeing if having the compressor before the EQ will work for me, or if I'm going to even like whether or not the compressor, how I have it set. I need to find a setting that will work for cleans and do the thing that I want it to do for cleans, but also find a setting that works great for distortion in conjunction with one of the overdrives that I'm using to get a little bit more grit out of the rocker verb. The tubes that got changed in it last year are a little bit lower in gain than they were the previous 5 years, So I need to do something to kind of up that saturation, get me a little bit more grind out of it, and tighten the low end of things. Oh no. Everybody run. He's here. He's causing trouble already. No, he's not causing trouble already. He hasn't caused any trouble yet. What up, Quentin? Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well, man. It's been far too long since I've seen your bright and shining face in the chat. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that I'm kind of trying out right now. I am supposed to do a video on these sinusoid sliver solderless cables. So I want to have a concrete idea of what I'm going to need to do to finish off this video, and that's by hooking up everything on the pedal board. The power supply is going to be the Excel Audio Effects Power Source 12, which is brand new. So there will be a separate video related to that. But I have other Excel Audio power supplies, and I want to experiment with the idea of daisy chaining a bunch of different pedals off of one 100 milliamp power supply. And so basically that's what I'm doing. Albus Band in the house. How you doing? Popping in to say hello. The kids are getting ready for bed, so I'll be in and out. Tell those kids hello for me. Tell them good night and sleep well. Oh no, too many pantsless people here. What's going on with you guys not wearing pants? Should I not? You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. Turn off the echoes. So yeah, there's tons of different experimentation things that are going on right now. I have a very special demo coming out tomorrow. Did you not wear pants in that one, Ben? Pants suck. Take them off. Take them off. Really, FSU. Yeah, tell me about it. That'll FSU my algorithm. Lots of experimentation things going on. Lillian is here. How you doing, Lillian? Good to see you. It's been a while. Love to hear the George Lynch wah. I use a Vox wah at present. Nice. Very good. Love the Vox wah sounds. A good Clyde McCoy. That's pretty hard to beat. I won't be plugging it in right away, but you will definitely hear it when the final pedal board build is put together. That will definitely be featured in the video. So lots of experimentation. I keep saying that, but I'm trying to transition a little bit, but I want to acknowledge you guys when you come into the chat. Lots of experimentation going on with this one, and lots of evolution of the experimentation. An overdue public release of a certain pedal. Interesting. Interesting. Slide into my DMs and tell me what it is. So the idea that I have is obviously using the Gig Rig G2, which is basically the centerpiece of any pedal board that I put together. Because I love using pedals, but I love using combinations of them, I need something that's going to allow me to switch multiple things at one time. Then, not only that, it changes channels on the rock reverb and also allows me to run 4-cable method into the amplifier and be able to move around the volume insert loop. So I can basically place the effects loop anywhere I want within the loops of G2. Yes, Retrohead, in so many activities right now. So many activities with this. But when I started out, I really wanted to try and take advantage of the fact that this is it has stereo outputs. And being that I have been running, my rock reverb with the Black Spirit 200 recently and really getting into it, I wanted to see if I could, really do something with it. What up, CGS? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks so much for joining in for a little bit. That deserves a C, a G. There's no S chord, so I'll make a squiggly one with my fingers. And there. That's your chord. That's your CGS chords right there. Open position S. There you go. So unfortunately, as much fun as that was, when I really got down to the experimentation of it all, trying different distortion pedals into the front end of both those amplifiers, it was good, but it wasn't great. And then, don't worry, Lillian, I won't forget bends for you. You can never forget bends. But I just wasn't 100% sold on using any of the distortion pedals as my main distortion. I was going back and forth between 4 or 5 of them. And none of them really spoke to me. And so I just decided after a long, long time of, well, you woke up. Awesome. I don't know what time it is in the UK. You're 8 hours ahead of me. Oh God, that looks like almost 4 a.m. Oh, that was me last night. Up at 4 a.m. Couldn't go back to sleep. But thanks for joining in. That means a lot. Yeah, so as much as I love those distortion pedals on their own, I wasn't really grooving with them. They switched over to the rock reverb, plugged up the dirty channel, and it had that X factor thing that guitar players are always talking about with tone. And so I really wanted, 146. Well, that's still early. Maybe you're a night owl like me, because, and nobody said I knew how to do math. So I switch over to the rock reverb. It's sounding really good. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm like, but it needs something. And so then I'm like, well, I should boost the front end of it. This is the sound of the rock reverb as is. Which sounds good, but I need a little bit more aggression out of it. Well, the MXR Timmy has been a big favorite this year, and so with the settings that I have right now, we get a little bit more noise, but at the end of the day, we also get... Loved it. Thought it was great. Thought I could really get something out of it, and I am definitely getting exactly what it is for the modern rock thing that I do out of it. So fantastic. But as I started cobbling together all these pedals that I'm going to put on the board, I slowly realized, hold on, I only have 12 outputs on the power supply. What am I going to do with all these pedals that I need to power? That's when I decided to write down all the pedals that I wanted on a sheet of paper. You can't see it. It's overexposed there. You can kind of see the writing. And basically went on the websites, found the manuals, and just went and wrote down all the power ratings and the milliamp necessities of each of the pedals. So with that in mind, I realized that the Timmy only needs 2.2 milliamps of power in order to be able to operate. The Fuzzbender needs 15 milliamps to operate. The Compressor Plus only needs about 10 milliamps. And then finally, today, I was like, I really want to get a big muff on the pedal board. So I decided, well, the Way Huge Swollen Pickle Smalls is muffy, and it's smaller. So what about that? That only needs 3.4 milliamps current draw. So altogether, that's less than 50 milliamps of power that's needed. And so I wanted to know, would there be any adverse effects of me taking one power cable from the Excel Audio power supply, plugging in a daisy chain, cable off of that and tapping power to multiple pedals. So as of right now, one 100 milliamp output on this Excel Audio power supply, which is an isolated power supply, is powering the Compressor Plus, the Fuzz Bender, the Timmy, and the Swollen Pickle. Yeah, Terry, Keeley does indeed make a Big Muff. It's their Psi Fuzz, PSI Fuzz. They also have a Big Muff style fuzz in the dark side, and they also have a Big Muff style fuzz in the Loomer as well. Speaking of which, if you haven't checked out Stephen from the Pedal Zone's recent demo of the Loomer, it is fantastic. I knew he would make it sound fantastic because, you know, he's my boy and I adore him. But yeah, it sounds good. So with that in mind, I put them all in. I plugged them all in. There's going to be 12 outputs feeding power. Most of the pedals are going to be powered, but I can power these 4 off of one outlet. But is it going to be noisy? As it stands right now, I'll even, go and just turn up the volume on a single coil. And the only real power issues and the only real noise I'm hearing is just normal stuff that I hear when using single coil pickups. When you put 2 pickups together, noise cancel, no different than any 60 cycle hum, no different. And then a humbucker, nothing. So now comes the real weird stuff. Let's add in each pedal, starting with the compressor. Timmy. And all this noise that I'm hearing right now, this is just normal stuff with the lights on in here, all the electrical, crap going on in this house. But as soon as I go to that in-between position, the noise is gone. Fuzzbender. And to take it really over the top, Swollen Pickle. And really, the Big Muff is the only pedal that when I kick it on, it adds a lot of noise. But then you have a fuzz pedal, a compressor, and an overdrive running in front of it. But with that further in mind, the compressor we're going to keep on. I need to have a setting now with this new idea of having the compressor always on. I need to find a setting that I like for cleans and dirties. Well, I spent a little time before we got going here and found one. Let's see. Turn it up a little bit. Aw, Lillian gave me a $20 super sticker. That's so nice of you, Lillian. Thank you. That deserves many bends for you. We'll use the Swollen Pickle for your many, many bends. bends for you. Thank you. And that was the compressor into the swollen pickle. Let's go ahead and just turn it off real quick. Yep, I actually like it better with the compressor in front of it because I don't have to turn the sustain up all like too much. So it's it's noisy, but it's not as noisy. So that's a nice little change of pace. Good stuff. Thank you, Lillian, for that. I appreciate that. So now with that out of the way, let's go back to the dirty channel. Echoes is not on. Put on, first off, let's hear it without. Compressor. Off. On. What's really nice about this particular sound is that it's not an extreme compression sound, and it's also not boosting the amplifier like crazy. It's just kind of evening things out, but it's also helping with note separation on the guitar. And it works, you know, with any other guitar as well. So Les Paul time, because that's what I'm most likely going to be using for the majority of the things that I do. Tune this guy up. And let's actually tune this one down to drop D. I know I already said thank you, Lillian, but I am going to say thank you again. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. We're at a very specific place with the channel right now where I'm trying to get it to grow, trying to catch fire. And any little bit of support you guys give, whether you're just sharing links, super chatting, super stickering, donating on PayPal or Patreon, it all helps. So now Les Paul without the compressor. Now, obviously, this is a much more mid-ranged focused guitar. Mahogany does that. The JB pickup does that. Will the compressor help clean things up and give us a little bit more note separation? Kind of feels like it is. Yeah, I think it does pretty well. But now let's combine it now with the Timmy, which obviously it's going to give us some noise, but I deal with the noise. Yep, it works, and I'll have to fine-tune the settings a little bit to make sure that the noise really isn't that much of a problem, as some of you guys will probably suggest, what about a noise gate? Would that work for you? The thing about noise gates are that they basically cut noise mostly when you're not playing, and when you are playing, the noise is still there. So ultimately, a noise gate, as good as it probably should be for me, is just not good enough. So kind of damned if I do and damned if I don't. But I'll do my best. I feel like I am barely seeing your guys' chats right now, but that's just what happens with their StreamYard these days. Okay, I think I can see the chat now, because Lillian actually asked a question and I didn't even see it. If I had to pick compressor or tube screamer, well, they do. Okay, now it finally shows up on StreamYard. The tough thing about that is that both of them do very different things. The compressor compresses in a very different way. Okay, now the chat is actually catching up, because for about a bit, I did not see. I see timestamps on YouTube as like 5:55. Lillian says awesomeness. I didn't see that until like 6 o'clock. So it's like the comments have been latent on StreamYard for me recently, which is really weird. So it's very hard to keep up with your chat. So at the very least, I have, my phone down here that I can reference on YouTube. What's up, James Christ? Whatever. JC? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. So, compressor or tube screamer. They both do essentially the same kind of idea. Like, you can use a tube screamer to give you some compression in a way, but you get compression through the clipping that it creates. Which, clipping is kind of an over compression of your signal at a certain point. So a compressor can do the job of a tube screamer in that it can boost your signal. A tube screamer can boost your signal, but the tube screamer and the compressor do very different things. They can do similar things, but they don't do the same thing. You can't replace one with the other. So I will defer to that commercial and say, ¿por qué no los dos? Yay, we have both. Let's see about this compressor with the big muff. CGS, thanks so much for joining in a little bit today, buddy. Go get some sleep. It's late. You should be sleeping. And I know you've got a family, so you need your rest to take care of them. Thanks so much for joining in, buddy. Hopefully we can catch up sometime. God, I don't know what it is. I mean, usually the G string on a Les Paul is annoying to keep in tune, but this one has been increasingly difficult recently. Maybe it's about time that Sean takes Old Faithful to the guitar doctor to get checked out. I love that flange on the repeats. Oh, it sounds so good. Now we might as well dirty channel with the compressor and fuzzbender. Yep, that's good shit right there. That is some good shit. Hey, Jay Steen and Gillis are here. How you doing, guys? Good to see you. So far, the experiments are working out pretty darn good. Even when we put multiple pedals on that are powered off that one power supply port, there's rarely any noise issue, which is really awesome. So now let me see about using the compressor on the clean channel and using the EB10 for some EQ. Because as you guys will probably hear, the Rockerverb clean channel is a very interesting beast. It's not totally clean, and it's also not very articulate, but it's got a very warm sound to it. So it's nice for certain things, but it's not nice for other things. So the EB10 allows me to cut and boost certain frequencies as I see fit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up to cut some mid-range. I'm going to boost some highs and boost some lows to see if we can get sort of like a black face kind of tone out of it. So we start out EB10. not bad. Doing okay. Great. This actually solves two things in knowing that I'm not going to get any noise issues. One, that's fantastic. And then two, the thing that I used to do was I would run the compressor after the EB10, after the EQ. Because what ends up happening when you use an EQ pedal of any kind is you're boosting and cutting frequencies, which has the tendency in certain frequency bands to distort. Try it. You can even do it on your DAW with any sort of EQ plugin. You boost a frequency loud enough and you're going to start to hear some either coloration. That's when you know that you've got just enough before it starts to sound bad, or you add too much, you get distortion. And that distortion is either pleasing or it's not pleasing. And my goal with it was to try to keep the guitar sound as clean as possible, because that's where I do all the sort of nice and pretty things that I do with clean guitar. So what this shows me is that I can do exactly what I want to do with the compressor on all the time. I can get the clean sound I want. I can keep the distortion sound that I want. And it'll interact with both of the fuzz pedals that I want to use on the pedal board without really having any sort of adverse effects. So yay, party, bonus. I think we can celebrate. Wizards and gargoyles to you all. Coffee IPA, who'd have thought? Oh, thank you, Lillian. Appreciate that vibrato compliment. Again, if you're joining us for the first time tonight, welcome. Hope you guys are doing well and having fun. If you've not interacted in the chat, please feel free to do so. We want to see your name. We want to hear what you have to say. Unless, of course, you're being a dick. At which point we will promptly boot you. Yep, James, this is Stone and Modern Times Wizards and Gargoyles Hazy Coffee IPA. It's amazing. It's really good. You get a little bit of like that roasted coffee thing, but it just works. Really nice. So let's have a play around with some of these things, huh? Take off the EB10, compressors on. Put on the MXR Timmy. Hello, Andon 5150. How you doing? Hi there. So what are we doing? We're doing a lot of things. We've been experimenting with some pedals. Trying out some new arrangements of pedals here as I get ready to finish off a pedal board build for a future video. Trying out some new combinations and trying to, get out of my comfort zone a little bit. That whole chestnut. Ah, what up, Dakota? Good to see you, buddy. Ooh, already not so. There we go. And there is no tremolo pedal with me right now. I have several tremolo pedals, but I don't really use tremolo all that much, to be honest with you. And this build is meant to be a board that I'm going to use for, you know, the large majority of the hard rock and modern rock stuff that I do. So tremolo is not really one of them. But there is going to be some fuzz, which is going to be fun. There's going to be some wah, which is going to be fun. And there's also going to be a lot of ambient kind of echo and reverb things. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to finally have this board together. It's going to allow me to experiment at the very same time as recall the sounds that I'm always using. That's good stuff. Really love this MXR Timmy. I don't know if I've said that enough. Although I have to admit, one of the things that I hope to do in a future build is I've been watching videos of like Michael Thompson and Dan Huff like the last couple of days, and really been enjoying those like stereotypical 80s, 90s studio guitar tones. So I think I'm going to have to build a small board that will allow me to get those really washy, chorusy, squashed compression kind of sounds. I have a feeling that'll be a lot of fun to try to cop. Oh, Dakota. Chorus, ever heard of a CE2? Yes, as a matter of fact, I have. Jerk. I was actually thinking about putting that CE2 on the board. A shameless plug for the CE2 video. Yeah, seriously. I mean, if you guys haven't seen that CE2 shootout video, or at least the two knob chorus pedal shootout, where me and Dakota shot out a made in Japan silver screw CE2, a Keeley modded CE2 that's made in Taiwan, but sounds amazing. And my way huge Blue Hippo Mark II, which has the NOS Panasonic chips in it for just some really kind of crazy goodness. Yeah, check that out. That was a fun video and really good stuff. Really fun. No, Andon, you can't see the board. No, you can't. I wish you could, but it's not much of a board, really. It's more just a smattering of pedals on the floor. There's Boss TU3, Keeley Compressor Plus, Keeley Fuzzbender, which is my been my go-to fuzz pedal for a very long time. So much so that the Keeley boys even gave me my own little signature version in a custom colorway of black and silver to match my black and silver Les Paul. We gave away a few of them last year on the channel. Some lucky folks around the world, including Mr. Aaron Lee of Albus Band, has his at home. I got the MXR Custom Shop Timmy Overdrive, the Smalls version of the Way Huge Swollen Pickle, and a Walrus Audio EB10 not overdrive, EQ and preamp. And the Keeley Echoes has been all the delay that you've been hearing in this. So it's a lot of fun stuff. I'm at the stage right now, and this is really just, as I said at the top of this was really sort of behind the scenes of some thoughts and some ideas that I had for this board that I wanted to test before I actually assembled everything. And you guys were sort of along for the ride here. Now that I've tested some things out and busted some myths, I suppose I could say, I can see moving forward that what I want to do, I'll probably be able to do as long as I know where to put everything on the pedal board. And I will be hopefully putting that pedal board together tomorrow. Won't be doing it Saturday. Saturday's house cleaning day, my least favorite day of the month. But yeah, this Timmy Overdrive just, it works with so many different guitars. It works with every guitar that I've ever plugged it into. It works in so many different contexts. I would love another one, to be honest with you, because it just as a boost with a little bit of grit, a little bit of color to it, it sounds fantastic. As a standalone overdrive, it's really good as well. And I love the EQ on it. It's exactly the kind of EQ that I would want on an overdrive, where everything's just kind of, you know, you turn it up all the way and it's kind of flat, and then you're slowly filtering it out. You can get a lot of really good clarity out of it. You can get a lot of really a lot of wallop of low end if you want it. You can have it. Yep, that's a good one. That's a good one. Can't believe we've actually been going almost an hour here. It's pretty cool. That's good. Well, with that in mind, guys, we're going to start wrapping up a little bit. If you guys have any last minute questions, please feel free to ask. But for those of you that have been watching this whole time, I do want to say thank you. And for those of you tuning in for the first time or tuning in towards, the end, it's really awesome that you guys came to join the live stream. Really wasn't sure what to do with it today because I've been spending the last 4 days of my life here in my studio shooting videos and completely did not prepare. The rest, other than that, we will be having, you know what? Terry just reminded me of something that I completely forgot to talk about that is totally appropriate for what we do here on the show. We reference Batman so many times. Oh my God. How much Batman stuff has come out in the last 5 days. From last weekend with the trailer drops for the Batman, Zack Snyder's Justice League, the 2 new Batman games with the Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights. It looks awesome. And then earlier this week on Tuesday, if you guys haven't checked it out, I highly recommend that you do so. It's a fantastically done comic. Is Batman 3 Jokers, which we've been waiting for the culmination of that storyline for at least 2 or 3 years, which is fantastic. So I'm really excited about that. I got the first volume today. I bought 2 copies of it. I bought the Joker cover and the variant cover with Batman on it, and it's just awesome. I'm definitely going to read it several times. And yeah, I'm so stoked on Batman right now. So you will probably be talking about Batman quite a bit. And hopefully that gamer chair company will give me a Batman chair. But it's been awesome of you guys all hang out. Dude, oh, thanks, Retrohead. I love the way you can play the solos without a backing track. It's all in the head, It's all in the head. But maybe one day we'll have some backing tracks. But it's been awesome to have you guys here. All I ask right now is that you guys continue to keep Robert, his family, his friends, which we all seem to be, and his coworkers and his company in your thoughts, your prayers, and your good vibes and well wishes for a speedy recovery from his operation, and that we will be hearing Robert Keeley yell at all of us a lot sooner than we think. It's going to be really awesome. I want to thank my mods, Terry. I want to thank Ben. I want to thank Aaron for showing up for a little bit. He's got his kid duties to do. And I want to give Riley a shout out as well because he's a longtime viewer and a very dedicated follower. And I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate your help. Shameless plug, big video on my channel tomorrow. Let's go ahead and let Ben do the shameless plug thing. For those of you who don't know, Ben's moderator to the stars, and somehow he agreed to be a moderator for me, and I greatly appreciate that. James, thank you so much for hanging out. Take care, my friend. You all out there, stay safe, stay healthy, have a good week, have a good weekend, get some rest, stay positive. Stay loving, and we will see you guys this coming Thursday. Same bat time, same bat channel, right here for another SPJ Live. And hopefully by then, the pedalboard will be done. So until then, my friends, I'm Sean Pierce Johnson, and I wish you all out there watching great tone, good health, and happy stomping. Cheers, friends. See you later. And I didn't even hit the camera. I got to work on my pick throws.